So hello, my Agape family. Good morning, good day. I'm here to talk about cosmic birth today, and there's a few reasons for that. One reason is today is actually my birthday. So today is the first day of my 60s. So I've been told that 60 is the new 40. So I'm looking forward to that. I wanted to start by putting a little context on the word cosmic. And when I talk about cosmic today, what I'm talking about is a universe that is inconceivably vast. It's so vast we can't even really wrap our brain around it, right? So everything, everyone, every resource, every piece of wisdom, every sage, every guru, every piece of love and light is in this universe, and it's ours. It's ours for the taking. It's ours for the knowing. So when I was dreaming about this talk today, and originally Reverend Jones said, "Do you want to switch days because it's your birthday and you're going to be out of town?" Yes, I'm at the beach. Um, and I thought, you know what? It just feels good to my heart and my soul to be able to speak today on this day. So I'm just so happy to be with you talking about cosmic birth, and I want to talk also about something very important, and that is that this month of June is Pride Month. And typically, this day in San Francisco would be the Pride Parade and Festival. I'm sure it'll be back next year, but I just wanted to weave these two things in together. And, uh, when it comes to Pride, what I'd like to say about it is there's this big celebration that we have on this day, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of Pride because I think it's very important, not just for me as a gay woman to know, but for all of my straight allies to know where this was born out of. I also want to weave together how I came to know myself through all this vast universal information that is circulating. Before I talk about that, what I want you to know is I have thought a lot about the probability of being born. So, what is the probability that you are here, that you had this cosmic birth? Have you ever asked yourself that? What are the chances that you were born the person that you are, in the place you were born, to the family you were born into, to the gifts and talents that you have? We know our human population is huge and growing. And it almost feels like being born could be a simple fluke. But I'm here to tell you that that's not true. The probability is roughly 1 in 400 trillion. I'll say that again. 1 in 400 trillion or more. That is how rare it is for you to be here. It brings me goosebumps, God bumps, to know this. Because knowing this really accentuates that there's a purpose on my life. There's a purpose on all of your lives. The Buddhist version of probability, you guys, I love this, is they call it this precious incarnation. You are a precious incarnation. I am a precious incarnation. Yes, just breathe that in. I see Reverend Barona breathing that in. Just take a deep breath and say to yourself, I am a precious incarnation. And again, I am a precious incarnation. So I know that these staggering odds bring us to this place at this time for a reason. And I believe the reason is that we live as our soulful self. Dr. Sue talked about that in our reading. The soulful self is, is the self that is never broken, always connected to that power and presence of whatever you call that cosmic organism, whether you call it God, Buddha, Allah, Jehovah, the force, energy, whatever you call it. We can never be separate from that power, from that oneness. And I know that there's 7 ways, and probably a lot more, to harness the information that the universe, the cosmic universe that has that vast information, has for us. I know that these things that I'm going to tell you, these 7 things, have worked for me powerfully in my life and helped me discover and know who I am. Who I am as a woman of God, who I am as a being of light, who I am as a lesbian and gay individual that loves who she loves. See, all those things are harvested because I checked into my heart. Because I had curiosity. I wanted to know more about me. And I want to know more about you too. And I really urge you to just keep your heart open, keep your inner ears open. Be watching for these 7 things that I'm going to discuss right now. The first one is sudden inspiration, right? It's that stimulation that is leading you to your purpose. So, you're talking to someone or you're in between a call, you're at work, and you suddenly have an inspiration. It just pops right in. Those things don't just pop right in from nowhere. They are there for a reason, for you to harvest that information. So sudden inspiration. Be really listening hard for those things. And as you listen hard, it's like a muscle. You get better and better at it. You don't have to listen so hard. You go, oh, there's one of those inspirations. I better write this down. The next way, number 2, your dreams. Your dreams are where you receive information from the subconscious and that cosmic intelligence. I had a teacher, Will Coleman, Dr. Will Coleman. He's an amazing man with a deep wisdom. And what he had us do while we were in class is keep a journal of our dreams, but not just our dreams. He said that when we're asleep, we're not unconscious. So that if you woke up at 4 in the morning, for example, and you had to go use the restroom, he had you write that down, the time. And I'll get to time in a minute, but and if there was a thought in your mind when you woke up, if there was a dream that was lingering when you woke up, all those things, we wrote all those things down. That information is just as important as that spiritual inspiration. So keep a dream journal, keep a piece of paper by your bed. You never know what's going to occur. The next way, number 3, subconscious signals. Now, I love this one, right? A lot of people call them God winks, right? So you're driving along and you see this billboard and it was just something you were just thinking about. You're like, I really need to check out whatever it is, and there's a billboard of it. Or how about this one? A friend tells you about a book that she read and she really enjoyed, and then the next person you see tells you about the same book, and you're like, that's interesting. That's two people. But then it happens again. Three people have told you about the same book. And you're like, okay, I get it. It's a book for me to read. So, subconscious signals, all these things, when someone calls you, you've been thinking about them, and they call out of the blue, maybe you're the caller. Maybe someone pops into your head and you're like, I need to call so and so, and you call them and they said to you, I was just thinking about you. So, subconscious signals. The next one is number 4, an idea that you just can't shake. So, I have many ideas. You could ask my wife. She probably says, oh no, another idea. Now, I have many ideas, and some of them hold, right? Some of them stay, and I just can't shake it. And some of them just like a river, they just pass through, right? Those ones that you can't shake are waiting for you to fulfill them. So keep a note of those. Another thing for you to journal. And I'm not saying that to give you more to-dos. I'm saying that because this is important. This is us connecting with that vastness, this cosmic intelligence, our cosmic birth, our reason for being. I say it because it's important. The next one, number 5, is sacred geometry. They say sacred geometry is the language of the universe. You find it in nature, you find it in architecture, you find it in numbers and shapes. So I'll tell you a little bit more about sacred geometry. So it's considered an ancient science that explores and explains the energy patterns that create and unify all things. So if you are walking out in nature, I just look at a flower, look at a dahlia. When I was really playing with sacred geometry, when I first really learned about it, I remember walking. There's this place near my house called Casa Peralta, and it's a home built in the 1800s. And there's all these beautiful, beautiful tiles around this place. And the thing that I noticed were these tiles that had this beautiful geometric pattern. And I was like, oh, there it is again. There it is again. This is a place for me. So the other thing about sacred geometry, numbers are included in that. That's why when you wake up into the middle of the night, write down the time that you wake up. Numbers are very important as well. And I know there's probably some numerologists in the community here, and I know they're probably shaking their head. Yes, numbers are very, very important. So that's sacred geometry. Next is number 6, a surge of emotion. Sometimes we label emotions as irrational. But what I want to tell all of you is emotions are always information. There's something for us to know about ourselves when an emotion comes over us. I know that I've had times in my life where it came over so strongly, it felt like a warm wave. Like I could feel my face get warm, and it wasn't just from being angry. I can have this warm wave come over me with love, with gratitude. So take time to be curious about these these surges of emotions. Don't write them off as there's something wrong with me, I'm having an emotional response. They are important. They are like a tuning fork, a guide for our life. You know, I know that I have a tendency to want to do the things and be with the people that bring me joy, that bring me that big wave of joyful emotion. But here's the thing, when I'm around other folks that trigger me or bring on a big wave of emotion that I might label as contrary to joy, it's just as important and informative for my life and for me to know who I am. Okay, well, this is interesting. I don't know why this came up, but here it is. I was at a spiritual center many moons ago, maybe 20 years ago, and there was a particular person that just triggered me, and I can't really explain why or what because I back then I probably wasn't sitting with my emotions. But I remember this distinctly, that if this person walked in the room, I walked out of the room. Do you have anybody like that in your life? Or have you ever experienced that? What I'm saying now is that is an opportunity for our unfoldment, for our expansion, for our good, not just for that other person. If we're cutting off someone, we're cutting ourselves off. So I really, really respect whatever comes up for me and work with it. So that was number 6. On to number 7. And can't have anything without this, and that is love. So love isn't about a particular thing or person. It's about living in that pure love alignment with your heart, open, receiving all this cosmic information all the time. So I know that Kathy's writing these in the chat. I appreciate that, Kathy, so much. I'll go over them again at the end, but I wanted to talk about how all of these things led me into me being me as an out and proud woman that wants to talk about pride because it's another important thing in my life. So I have to give you this little tidbit. When I realized that I really was interested in being with women and not men, and my friends wanted me to go to Pride with them, I thought, wait a minute, Pride is every year on my birthday. Which sometimes is really funny because I say, well, they're having a parade for my birthday. But at other times I thought, well, I want to celebrate with my friends and not have it be around Pride. I had to get to a point where I recognized and realized that it was all interwoven. It's a part of me. It's not the totality of who I am. That's not what I'm saying here. But it's important for me to embrace it completely, fully, utterly, so that I can be the bigness, brightness that I am. So I wanted to talk a little bit about pride. I said that earlier. Yes, pride is a time that we get to celebrate who we are, but it was born out of a lot of ignorance and hatred for the LGBTQ plus community, right? So it started in the Stonewall Riots, and that was on June 28th, 1969. The police raided the Stonewall Inn. It was a very popular bar in Greenwich Village. But mind you, this was not the first time that the police raided the bar. What they would do is they would raid the bar and round up gay men and trans women and take them to jail. But this time, on that June 28th, the crowd began to fight back, and there was tension, and there was this boiling point, and eventually there was violence that broke out for multiple nights. This started the LGBTQ plus activism, and it's flourished. It's paid off in numerous achievements and advancements, and yet there's more work to do. When I was doing some research, I was surprised to remind myself of some of these things, because there's certain states that a gay person lives in that they can get fired for being gay. There's certain states that a person under 18 can be put into conversion therapy. There's a lot to do. There's still a lot to do, but we've come so far, because I can tell you this, that I am married. I am married to the love of my life. I didn't know that that could happen way back when. I didn't know that I could be considered a regular, normal, loving family person because of who I love. So we've come a long, long way. I also want to talk to you about why some of these cosmic signs that I talked to you about, the 1 through 7, and how they worked in my life. So when I was in high school, 3 out of 5 of my best friends, and I had a very small group of friends, were all gay. They came out to me in our senior year. And that was my first clue, you guys, because when they came out to me, I said, well, I love you. I'm not leaving you. We're friends. I know who you are. Now, I didn't know where I was going in my path yet until college, but I knew that there's no way that I could diss a friend for being true to who they are. The other thing that happened was in college, I had my second roommate. She was just this wild, vivacious, crazy New Yorker. And the minute that we started roommates together, I just instantly loved her. Now, we didn't have a relationship, but there was something about her energy and her confidence. She considered herself bi. She had a boyfriend and a girlfriend in high school. And I just found it so interesting. And we would have these deep, deep, deep talks. And now that I can see it looking backward, I can see how that cosmic universe provided me with such an amazing person for me to have the understanding of who I was. So the next thing was when I had that understanding that, wait a minute, I love men, but not that way. I love women, but yes, that way. I couldn't shake that feeling. The universe wouldn't let that idea go because it was part of who I am. And also, these friends and family that I've had in my life for so long, I knew that they loved me just the way I was. Now, okay, I'll admit it was harder to come out with my mom and my family, especially my mom. You know, I sat her down and we had a talk, and she cried. I know she cried because she felt like she lost a daughter that was going to be getting married and having children and those kind of things. Children aren't in my world. It could have been whether I was gay or straight, but anyway, she cried. I cried. I cried because I didn't want to let her down. I cried because I didn't want her to be sad about who I was. But here's another wink from the cosmic universe. My mom got together with her last partner, and he had two gay lesbian daughters. And he was um, very open. He funded two weddings. He was very loving. He considered their partners, their wives, a part of the family, and it really felt like it gave the opportunity, the opening for my mom to consider my life differently because she saw how her partner dealt with his daughters. So, so many things, right? Now, I admit, you guys, I am extremely blessed. I was born in California, not just California, the coast, right? I was born in Los Angeles where it's very open, you know. I recognize that there's people, including my wife, that was born in the Midwest where it's, you don't even talk about it. Although I did have a friend in California that came out to his family, and the first thing that happened was his mother sent him away and said, "You don't live here anymore." These coming out stories happen. They didn't happen to me. I honor all those stories because I also know that whatever happened for those folks, it really gave them the opportunity to know themselves as the powerful being that they are. So I feel extremely blessed. I also feel that I was always open. I was always open to this cosmic universe. I've always been interested in spirituality. I found my first, I call her my spiritual Eskimo, when I was 17 years old, and she taught me how to meditate. The universe has always taken care of me. There's never a time that I don't feel like there's been guidance for my cosmic birth. So I want to just tell a little quick story, um, just so that we know how much progress has been made in the gay community, right? So there was this small bakery in Texas, and they made these rainbow themed cookies for Pride Month. They're actually beautiful. And they posted it on their social media, and they captioned it, "More love, less hate. Happy Pride to our LGBTQ plus friends." What happened was an instant backlash. So people that had been customers for years, in fact, in particular, one customer had ordered 5 dozen cookies, called and canceled their order. A lot of other people just on social media just disengaged from them immediately. Well, that's not the end of the story. See, because people heard what was going on. And 10 a.m. the next day, when they opened their doors, there was a crowd at the front door. And this crowd kept going. The line was around the block. All those people were standing in the rain, patiently waiting to buy a cookie. The owner said it just brought tears to her eyes. So over the next few days, there was this steady stream of customers that arrived to show their support. And everything that order that was canceled, that was bought quickly. Everything in the bakery was bought out. So that's what I know is going on these days. The owner of that bakery just wanted to show love and acceptance for the gay community and gave many people the opportunity to be of support. So if you know someone in the gay community that you want to support, just call them up and let you know that you love them. That's all it takes. So watch and listen for those cosmic inspirations. Watch and listen for all those 7 items. I'm going to go over those again. So the sudden inspiration, your dreams, your subconscious signals, those ideas that you just can't shake. Sacred geometry, notice it when you're out there. Notice when you have a surge of emotions. Okay, I know maybe you can't not notice it, but honor it. Give it time and space. And lastly, love. Coming from a heart of love, being love, that's who we are, my friends. I know that's who I am. And I'm just so incredibly grateful that my community knows me and loves me for who I am. There's not one person I've met that through the doors of Agape International or Agape Bay Area that I felt like I had to be anything different than who I am. So let's just take a moment to just breathe into that loving heart. Just take a nice deep breath and just have a moment for yourself to ask yourself, who am I? Who am I in this moment? Maybe something will come through, an inspiration, an emotion. Let's just give it a moment to honor that.